In this video, I'm going to explain to you the step-by-step process of the most predictable way to lose body fat using metabolic priming. So in this video, I'm going to break down my metabolic priming blueprint, some clients that have went through my program and have seen absolutely incredible results, a little bit about how your metabolism works, and why metabolic priming is the most predictable way of losing body fat. So if you are under 2,000 calories and you're doing tons of cardio and you're experiencing signs of bad digestion, fatigue, can't concentrate, and you just feel like you're struggling to see any progress after doing so much and putting so much in and getting nothing out, then this is the video for you, because I'm going to break down step by step what has happened to your metabolism, how to fix it, and even if you've never started before, I'm going to show you exactly the most predictable way to lose body fat and keep it off for good by raising your metabolism to a higher level, allowing you to eat more food, sustain progress for longer, and get unstuck from your fat loss plateau. So if you guys don't know me by now, my name's Adam. I'm an online fat loss professional. I help busy, career-driven men break fat loss plateaus, get to the leanest body fat percentage they've ever been using a predictable method of metabolic priming that I've helped over 63 guys use just in the last 6 months to get extremely low in body fat percentage, lose an extreme amount of weight, and get to the leanest body fat percentage that they have ever personally been, eating more food. So I've had guys lose 40 pounds, 50 pounds, and my client Phil right here has just hit the 70-pound mark in his fat loss transformation. So I have many asset links for you guys down below. There's going to be an asset link with my full in-depth video on metabolic priming and how to lose body fat using metabolic priming. There's going to be my client testimonials, my client transformations, and a link below that. And there's going to be an application for you guys to fill out and work with me one-on-one. But the purpose of this video is to get a high-level overview of why metabolic priming is so predictable and why it's such a predictable way of losing body fat and why you're currently stuck under 2,000 calories, spinning your wheels, doing tons of cardio, starving yourself, and never seeing sustainable progress. So stick around for this entire video because I'm going to explain step by step how this is possible, the science behind it, and I'm going to help you get unstuck. So, to break down metabolic priming and what it is, for the guys who are under 2,000 calories, this is what has happened to your body over time. So it comes in a form of metabolic adaptation, which is also called diet fatigue. So when you don't give your body enough of what it needs, it starts to downregulate your hormones, downregulate your metabolism to keep your body from actually starving. It's a survival mechanism that your body has ensured over time in the times of food scarcity. So food scarcity today comes from purposeful caloric restriction. People doing massive upfront diets, cutting their calories super low off the bat, and doing tons of cardio. So the truth is that calories in versus calories out only works to a specific degree. Why? Is because fat loss is not linear. There's not just one simple form of fat loss. So fat loss is controlled by your nervous system. So when you break down fat loss, you first have to mobilize the fat, and then you have to oxidize the fat. So this whole process is controlled by your nervous system. So the fat molecules themselves, fatty acids, are connected by a backbone of glucose, right? So to actually mobilize those glucose molecules, you first have to break the backbone of that. And Andrew Huberman did an amazing podcast about this. But like when you break the backbone of those glucose molecules, they'll then go into your bloodstream and then you're able to oxidize it, right? So within my clients' programs, I have specific mechanisms that help them not only break that backbone, help mobilize fat, but actually oxidize fat. But the reason why I bring this up is because if you're doing tons of cardio and not getting enough energy input to supply your body's BMR or basal metabolic rate, your body will start to down-regulate its metabolism and the nervous system will start to be inflamed, which will prevent you from actually losing body fat. So calories in versus calories out is an extremely flawed model for this perspective because the body will start to downregulate everything no matter how much calories out you're putting if you're not getting enough calories in to support essential body functions, right? So major hormones in this that are at play are leptin, ghrelin, thyroid hormones like T3, T4, and metabolism, but most importantly testosterone, which is extremely important in men to maintain. So when you break down the metabolism itself, 60% of it is your basal metabolic rate, which is essential body functions like breathing, blood flow, think, sleep, organ function, etc., right? And so if you're experiencing signs of like a very fast weight loss plateau where you did a massive upfront diet or you're getting very low in calories, you might be seeing signs of fatigue, can't concentrate, low energy. Anytime you eat any carbohydrate or have any type of meal out with friends or family for dinner, you just automatically gain 5 to 10 pounds. And then no sex drive, increased appetite, bad skin and hair, and very, very bloated, okay? So, like for instance, my client Andres came to me in that exact position, right? So, down severely in mountain calories, doing tons of cardio, and what he did right here, you can just see the inflammation that has occurred with his nervous system, not allowing his body to lose fat, right? So over the course of time, he is 10 pounds down, eating 500 more calories per day. Gut is deflated, nervous system's back intact, and then body's actually allowing him to actually lose more body fat by mobilizing and oxidizing fat. So, when you break down the metabolism even further, you have the thermic effect of food, right? Which is basically the calorie conversion process of actually breaking down the food to actually utilize as energy. And then 25% of it is planned and non-planned exercise, right? So, if you're doing tons of cardio, but you're not supplementing 60% of your metabolism or the entirety of the 75% with the correct amount of food, macronutrients, and supplying your body's basal metabolic rate, it doesn't matter how much active energy expenditure you do, how much working out, how much moving around you do, because your whole body is going to be working against you. The body is 10 times smarter than you ever will be, and it's smarter than I will ever be as well. So it goes through an adaptations very quick to, protect us in times where we need to, right? And so, what I specialize in more specifically with all of my many clients is metabolic priming, a higher level nutrition strategy of actually raising your metabolism and getting your body prepped for fat loss, right? Being able to mobilize the fat, oxidize the fat. And this is by far the most predictable way of losing body fat because it's a system, right? I've created a system with my metabolic priming blueprint that makes it extremely predictable. When we go through the metabolic priming phase, increasing your body's hormonal response, increasing your metabolism, your T3, your T4, your testosterone, and getting your body to grow muscle tissue to increase metabolism. Because when you break down the actual physiology of the muscle mass in general, muscle mass is highly metabolic, which means that it takes 8 calories to sustain 1 pound of muscle tissue, but 2 calories to sustain 1 pound of body fat. So having more muscle tissue means you'll have a higher metabolism, which, comes another flaw where people think that you can't get leaner and get bigger at the same time, which you can. You just have to have the correct training program in place, and you have to have the correct nutrients in the form of protein, carbs, fats in place to allow you to grow muscle tissue, to allow your body to utilize its metabolism to its advantage and get leaner, and also, reduce any inflammation and utilize the body's nervous system in correct responses to lose body fat. So what is metabolic priming, and why is it so predictable, right? So metabolic priming is the manipulation of cellular metabolism, right? Turning the body's food storing mode, storing the energy in the form of being able to supply only the basal metabolic rate, to turn the BMR into burning more energy and eating more calories, right? Reduction of oxidative stress and inflammation by repairing hormones through higher level nutrition strategies. Repairing the body's nervous system, putting the body into a parasympathetic state to allow your nervous system to mobilize fat and to oxidize fat. So there's certain strategies you can do to do both. Mobilization of fat and oxidization of fat, right? So if you're only using one certain strategy of lots of cardio or one certain strategy of just weight training, you're only getting one half of the story or one half of the correct fat loss, right? So to, prepare the body for your nervous system, you can't be doing way too much of one and putting your body in a super stressful state to where it downregulates everything, trying to heal everything, right? And so manipulation of cellular metabolism to pH, O2 levels, and nutrient availability to stimulate metabolism, right? So some of you guys right now who are watching this are eating under 2,000 calories, doing tons of cardio, your gut is inflamed, and you have poor sleep, you can't concentrate, and you just got that bigger belly that won't go away. So this is the process that will save your life and will change your life forever, because it's not only predictable, but you can eat more food, and you can get rid of the belly fat. So if you try to lower your calories and your BMR is too low, you will hit a plateau every single time. It's non-negotiable. The body will go straight into survival mode and prohibit you from losing any more. Instead, we want to work on raising the BMR, increasing muscle tissue through strength training, which is going to increase metabolism as well, and prime your metabolism to burn more calories at rest to stay leaner for a body fat percentage for longer. So many of you guys who have tried low-calorie diets, keto, carnivore, and have just, bounced right back right after. It's because, one, you've never been taught a sustainable way to actually keep the progress, by maintaining your hormone levels to allow your body to eat more food. Imagine what your life would be like if you could eat 3,000 calories and be down to your dream body, right? It's completely possible. Tons of my clients are doing it right now. Take Wagner, for example. Wagner's almost up, he's literally up 1,000 calories right now, down 3 pounds, but we've gotten rid of the gut, and he's right now currently up to today's date, he's up 1,000 calories, down 3 pounds, but his body's burning food. He's now at 3,300 calories per day. Imagine what your life would be like if you didn't have to eat under 2,000 calories and you're actually happy with your body. So, with metabolic priming in general, why it's so predictable is we utilize your body's hormones to our advantage to burn more calories at rest, right? So the first thing I do with all of my clients' programs, and Wagner's not the only one. Christian, up 15 pounds, 1,000 more calories a day and absolutely peeled. Steven, 900 calories per day, 18 pounds up and absolutely peeled. Mason, 1,300 more calories per day, same weight, absolutely peeled. Tristan, same weight, 1,300 more calories, absolutely peeled. Devin, 1,300 more calories, 35 pounds down, absolutely peeled. Mason, 800 more calories per day, down 10 pounds, absolutely peeled. So it's the most predictable process of getting people extremely, extremely lean, and it happens fast. Rick, my client Rick here, lost 8 pounds in just 1 week by implementing the correct macronutrients to supply his hormones, his basal metabolic rate, and getting his body to actually turn to energy burning mode. So if you're like Rick right now, where you have the beer gut and you just feel like your digestion is off, or you don't even know what calories to be eating, macronutrients, protein, carbs, fats to stimulate your hormones, this is where you're going wrong, because you could have 80% of it figured out your entire life, but the 20% of actually what you need to make sustainable progress, keep it off for good, and maintain your dream body is what is keeping you stuck and keeping you bouncing back and forth between the 30 pounds of fat loss, gaining it back, losing another 30 pounds, gaining it back, but actually never making sustainable progress because you're in such a hypercaloric deficit for an extended period of time that you're just so starving you can't maintain it. And so now every year you just gain it right back after losing it because you can't actually maintain it because it's so uncomfortable. This process is not only predictable, it's sustainable, but it's comfortable. Imagine what it's like to eat more food. So I'm going to break down how it is possible, right? So I specialize in higher level nutrition strategies. Like I said, I've worked with 63 guys using this exact same process every single time, and it works every single time because it is predictable and it's an actual system of customization to what your body needs. If you're trying to do the same diet that got you down 30 pounds in the first place and you've gotten stuck, you're going to stay stuck because you've never had something that's actually been updated or customized week by week by the progress you're making. If you're doing the same thing that got you down the first 20 pounds, got you down the first 30 pounds, then and it's not ever been customized or updated by the progress you're making, you're just going to stay in a plateau and you're just going to stay stuck because you constantly need to be updating your macronutrients based upon the progress you're making, how you're looking, your body weight, your hormones, etc. Because if you're just trying one certain thing that can't be updated, can't be customized, like keto, like intermittent fasting, or not even tracking your calories or macronutrients, you're just going to hit a plateau. So this is why this process is so predictable every single time, and I'm going to explain a little bit on how I do it with my clients, how I implement it into my clients' plans, and how I'm able to get them to eat more food and lose more body fat and set themselves up for 70-pound transformations like my client Phil right now. So anyways, we can kind of, let's take you for example. So you watching this, right? If you're at 2,000 calories right now, and you are doing 30 minutes of cardio, right? All while you've been in a plateau for a little bit now. So it's, it's fair to say your BMR is pretty low if you've been in a plateau for some time, because your BMR is only going to be higher if you're constantly losing more weight, and that kind of backs the subject of if you're in a plateau, you're probably capped on your BMR. So what I do with my clients is the first thing I do is, if you're doing under 2,000 calories, or maybe not even doing cardio, maybe you're doing zero cardio already, but you're super active at work. You walk 10, 15,000 steps at work, which is relatively same thing as the energy output you do from cardio. But either way, you're super active work, or you're already currently doing cardio. The first thing I do if you're doing any extracurricular cardio is I cut all cardio, right? So right off the bat, we get rid of cardio, right? Because one, like I mentioned earlier, we want to prep your body and prep your body's nervous system to mobilize fat and to oxidize fat. So we cut the calories to zero, or the cardio to zero, to make sure your body's resting. It's putting yourself in a parasympathetic state, and that we can get your body's nervous system to start stimulating a little bit more. Because if you're putting too much stress on your nervous system in the form of low calories and lots of cardio, or a lot of stress at work, that's when you start to really pack on that beer gut, and no matter what you do, you can't get rid of. It's just a bunch of inflammation that's been packed on over time, constantly, over and over and over again, and it's put your body's nervous system in kind of peril, right? In a spot where it doesn't know what to do, because it's so highly inflamed, and your gut's so highly inflamed that you just have that round belly, right? And so first thing we do is we cut all cardio, right? So say you're at 2,000 calories, right? And first thing we do is we cut cardio. I then do a caloric intake maintenance assessment. Find out exactly where you're at calorie-wise to know exactly what I, as a coach, need to implement into your plan to be able to correct hormone levels, to correct metabolism, to correct thyroid, to correct testosterone, to get your body in line with burning more calories, eating more food. So that's super, super important. And so then I implement you with macronutrients, right? So macronutrients specifically, if I break them down on a more, macromolecule perspective, protein, for instance, has a higher thermic effect, which means 100 calories you eat of protein, 30% of it gets broken down into the digestive process. So having a good protein intake and a set protein intake will have your body actually burning more food in the thermic effect of food within your metabolism, energy to break down food in the calorie conversion process. So setting yourself with a good protein goal that has a higher thermic effect, but also has enough to build good muscle tissue, because as we start to build more muscle mass, our metabolism starts to rise, right? And that's super, super important, because a lot of people, like I said, think you can't get leaner while gaining more weight. In my client, like I said, Steven, Mason, Christian, even Connor, all up 13 pounds, but shredded, right? So it's not a simple weight loss, problem. It's a fat loss problem. You guys are severely, restricting yourself and putting you guys in a plateau and trying to, brute force your way out of this plateau when your body's working against you, and it's never going to happen. So, like I said, then protein gets broken down into amino acids, which are building blocks of the body, repaired and build muscles and bones. So why it's important to have a good amino count with, the correct protein count, because when you break down specific protein types, certain protein types have a higher amino acid count, which higher amino acid counts in your protein will lead to higher oxidation of body fat, right? Which amino acids specifically are in furnace, they burn up really quickly. And so having that will help oxidize fat with the connection of the higher thermic effect of your protein. Then I supply you with a fat goal, right? Which is going to get broken down into fatty acids for energy. Extra fat is stored in fat cells. So it's true, too much fat in your diet will lead to extra fat. But when you nail your fat intake, it optimizes hormone levels, it optimizes T3 thyroid metabolism, and optimizes your testosterone as well. But most importantly, with a lot of my clients, like you seen Andres earlier, it helps optimize digestion, because there's 8 calories per 1 gram of body fat, or 8 calories for 1 gram of fat, right? Which means it's the higher caloric amount, which means it's very slow digesting. Also has a very low thermic effect. So nailing the fat intake will improve your digestion, improve your hormone levels, and gives your body exactly what it needs to support cellular function. So, and then next thing we do is we add carbohydrates, which is like, a huge thing in today's society, where people are like so scared of carbohydrates and think that carbohydrates are the enemy and try to cut carbohydrates out of their diet. And I'm going to tell you why that's absolutely bullshit, right? One, because there's carbs in literally everything. There's literally carbs in everything out there. So unless you want to go the rest of your life without eating a carbohydrate, then you shouldn't be scared of them, right? So yes, keto, in fact, the actual ketosis would mean that, one, you have to be under 50 grams of carbohydrates for an extended period of time to your body actually start to convert energy into ketones, right? But many people just put their bodies in this metabolic purgatory where they're on low amounts of carbohydrates but not producing ketones, which just downregulates everything and just makes you feel like absolute crap. On the specific end, why would you be scared of something that's in everything, first of all, right? It's not sustainable, and actually using carbohydrates has many specific advantages, right? For instance, carbohydrates, one, they are the preferred energy source of your brain, right? When I mentioned earlier, when they have a low metabolism, you can't concentrate. Well, specifically, carbohydrates help with increased cognitive ability, right? So they also support bodily functions, physical activity, which is 60% of your metabolism, right? So carbohydrates more specifically are the energy input, right? The energy input that is going to match your energy output, right? It's the body's main fuel source, and it gets broken down to glucose for energy. So yes, too many carbohydrates will make you fat, right? Too many carbohydrates will make you fat because extra is going to be stored in the liver, and then that's when it kind of, compiles over time. Too many carbohydrates will make you fat. But nailing the fat intake will help with increased cognitive abilities, decrease cortisol levels in the body, and decrease inflammation. So cortisol levels in the body are extremely bad. So if you are under 2,000 calories right now and you're hit a plateau, and no matter what you do, you can't lose weight, and your gut's inflamed and your digestion is crap, what's happening right now is you're putting a ton of not only inflammation but a lot of cortisol in your body. So cortisol in the body is extremely, extremely bad for your parasympathetic nervous system, because raised levels of cortisol will prohibit you from losing body fat, right? And increase the chance of going catabolic and losing muscle mass. So the whole perspective of calories in, calories out gets absolutely demolished here when you're not getting enough food to actually decrease cortisol levels, decrease inflammation, and put your body's nervous system into a parasympathetic state to actually lose body fat, right? Which, why calories in, calories out when you're at the specific level under 2,000 calories and you feel like crap all the time doesn't matter. You could do as much cardio as you want. You're just stuck until you get the correct carbohydrates, protein, carbs, and fats to actually raise your metabolism, get you unstuck, right? So after that, we start slowly raising calories, right? Getting your body to actually burn more calories. So I've done a ton of case studies on my specific clients. I've done this exact process for you, but this is kind of a high-level overview on exactly how I do it. So each week as my clients check in, I update their macronutrients based about the progress they're making. And I really try to focus on raising carbohydrates, because carbohydrates, like you've seen earlier, support bodily functions, your BMR, right? So using carbohydrates to our advantage to increase calories while we're at zero cardio means that our body's going to start burning more calories, eating more food, right? So we nail the protein intake, we nail the fat intake, and then we start working on carbohydrates, slowly working them up, building muscle mass in the process, raising metabolism through increased strength training, and getting the body's nervous system to actually respond correctly to fat loss. So over time, we slowly raise the food over time each week based upon the progress my clients are making. And eventually we do get to a spot where your body is kind of capped out. And I can usually tell as a coach when your body is capped out and we can't add any more carbohydrates and your body's not burning any more off and it's actually starting to put stuff off. And that's as a sign for me as a coach when I know that we are ready. And when I mean we are ready, I mean that you are ready to go back into, actually lowering calories and increasing cardio and reducing calories, right? So, like, for instance, like Wagner, for example. So, for instance, Wagner, for example, right? So, like, he's at 3,200 calories as of today's date. He's doing no cardio. So, let's take this, for example. So, he's doing no cardio now. Now that we slowly increase, his carbohydrates over time, getting his body to actually build more muscle tissue, increase, muscle presence to increase metabolism, but more specifically get his BMR up as high as it can go. So he is just now this week getting to the point where we're going to start backtracking. And what I mean by backtracking is now that Wagner is at 3,200 calories, his BMR is all the way up here. We can now go into like a structured fat loss phase, which means that we maintain the muscle tissue we built, but more hyper-focus on body fat, right? Which means that we slowly start working up a little bit in cardio, also increasing steps per day, which I don't have that marked off right here, but we also increase steps per day, and then we start lowering calories because now we have more leverage to work with. What you guys do that is extremely wrong and why you've never been able to keep body fat off in your entire life is you just start right at 1,800 calories and start at 40 minutes of cardio. The body's not prepped or ready to lose fat because scientifically your body doesn't want to lose body fat. Like, it doesn't want to lose weight, right? And more specifically, like, you guys think that watching this right now, when you do very super upfront diets or cut your carbs right off the front to lose weight, like, one, think about it like this. The correct way to lose body fat, the correct amount of body fat to lose per week is 0.5 to 1.5, right? So a bunch of you, one, do very upfront diets, crash your calories, get really hungry, and bounce right back. But you lose like 15, 20 pounds of typically it's just extra water weight from the carbohydrates you're restricting and the water weight surrounding your inner intestinal organs, lose 15, 20 pounds, and then the weight starts to slow down. And you've already preconditioned yourself and positively reinforced yourself to lose body fat lose weight a significant amount when realistically you've lost 10 pounds of muscle, 10 pounds of body fat. Now you're caught in the skinny fat phase and you just look kind of gross, right? Instead, build muscle tissue in the form of metabolic priming, increase metabolism, and when you're up to 3,200 calories, you can slowly start lowering calories and slowly raising cardio each week based upon the progress you're making. And we aim for 0.5 to 1.5 pounds per week so we can maintain as much calories and do as least cardio as possible as long as we're hitting that 0.5 to 1.5 pounds per week. If we're not hitting the 0.5 to 1.5 pounds per week, then we update it. 10 more minutes of cardio this week. 100 less grams of calories this week. And that's how my clients, like Phil over here, have lost almost, he went from 285 in our initial consultation, right here, 285 at 2,100 calories per day, and now he is 221. He just weighed in this morning at 219 pounds, which is a 65, 70 pound transformation. And he's not even eating low calories. He's eating about 2,500 calories per day right now. And so he's not starving himself. He's not in the position where he's super, super hungry. He's eating 2,500 calories a day. He's down 70 pounds. And that's because we prepped his body for a proper fat loss phase. We didn't cut his calories super fast. We didn't cut carbohydrates at all. We used his body's actual natural functions of hormonal support to our advantage, and we got his body to lose 70 pounds, and he's only eating 2,500 calories, right? If we want to get him leaner and get to the 100-pound mark, we can absolutely do so. And the reason why this is most predictable because it's an actual system. So now that Phil is down 200 to 219 pounds, if we wanted to go back into a metabolic priming phase once we did get his body low enough and did get his calories low enough, we can repeat the entire process. So that's why this is so, incredibly predictable, because it's a process that can be repeated, right? My client Devin right here is on his second metabolic priming phase, right? And this is his transformation he made with, the big inflamed gut right here to absolutely peeled in the check-in he just had this morning was like literally disgusting. Like he is like peeled right now. And many of my other clients, like this is why this process is so predictable, because it's an actual system to use. It's an actual way of using your body's metabolism and correct hormones response to losing more body fat. And it's also sustainable because you don't have to starve yourself. You don't have to try another one-size-fits-all diet that you're going to rebound back from eventually anyways. You can actually learn the process of what your body needs macronutrient-wise, learn how to sustain it, and keep it off for good. So, if you guys are wanting to work with me a little bit more one-on-one and you want to join my program with 63 other guys, we have an amazing group of guys with an amazing community that we do 2 group calls a week. There's going to be many videos on my channel that go over metabolic priming. I have a free course on metabolic priming, and so if you want to check that out, go ahead. But the purpose of the video is to exactly show you a high-level overview of why metabolic priming is so predictable and how it's helped 63 of my clients lose an incredible amount of weight, lose an incredible amount of actual body fat, not just weight in the form of muscle and body fat, but strictly body fat, and get to the leanest body fat percentage that they've ever been, actually using precise method of higher level nutrition in the form of metabolic priming that has worked with me, many of my other clients, and it could absolutely work for you too. So there's going to be an application link in the description of this video. If you think that, one, you're stuck in a fat loss plateau, you're experiencing signs of depression, low fatigue, you can't concentrate at work, and now your work is starting to fail, you're super bloated, you've got the beer gut, and you're under 2,000 calories, sign up for a time with me. Don't wait, all right? I'll see what's happening with you. I'll see where you're trying to get, and I'll bridge the gap with an actual proven, predictable plan to get there. And if I think that I'm 1,000% confident that I can help you, I will build you out a plan customized to you on how to get to the leanest body fat percentage that you have ever been. So if you are a busy, career-driven guy, sign up for a time below. Don't wait. I hear all the time how, oh, I have this going on, or, oh, I want to, save for XYZ. Your health is the most important thing in your entire life. How you perform at work, how you perform in day-to-day tasks, how you feel about yourself, how you look when you take your shirt off is the most important thing in your entire life. And I think society needs to start shifting their mind towards, do whatever you need to do to get the help you need to get the body you want. Because there is nothing more powerful in your life than investing in yourself and getting the confidence that you deserve and the body that you want. And I can absolutely help you get you there, and I can absolutely change your life. And if I am 100% confident, I will bid you out some strategy, and I'll show you look like to partner up. But the link below is going to be in the description. So fill out a time, and let's sit down and talk. I'll see you on the call.